DNA Sports, episode 35, in the damn bullpen, baby. Got the scoreboard in the background. All right, I wanted to specifically cover today the importance of understanding game scenarios as a young player. This gets by a lot of kids. They're so focused on their mechanics or having the proper swing or literally just the fundamentals of playing the game that they bypass the situations that arise on every play. This is something you could do right now, and it's one of the best things you could do if you're trying to win as a team. You know, if you're not doing this, you know, you're undermining all of the work that you're putting in the offseason. You're undermining your skill level, your strength, your speed, everything, because if you get on the base path and you make a dumb base running error because you didn't assess your situation, I mean, everything you put in to get on base doesn't matter anyways. So I actually put out a tweet today. It was, you know, the best thing you could do right now is understand game scenarios. One, what the hell's going on? And two, what individual decision are you going to make next and how it's going to impact the whole team. So if you reach base or you're in the outfield and you're not thinking about the situation at hand, you know, the count, the inning that you're in, are you trailing runs or are you up by 3? If you're not thinking about those different scenarios, you're not going to understand the impact that your next decision is going to make when you make it, and how it's going to affect the entire team and how it's going to affect the win column or the loss column. And that's something that needs to be done on every single pitch. And it's the easiest thing that can be done. It's going to take you 3 to 5 seconds to come to the right conclusion if you take the 3 to 5 seconds to do that. You got anything on that?
That's great.
I'll give you an example then. Here's something very simple that kids don't do that they need to start doing, right? If you're on first base and a hard ground ball is hit to second and it's, you know, it hit right to the infielder, obviously he has the opportunity to turn to double play. You need to make him earn that double play by telling yourself, I'm never going to run into an out. And that's a situation that always comes up. So if you're running across from first to second and he's fielding the ground ball, if you let him tag you and throw the ball to first, you're allowing him to turn the double play that much easier. What you need to do is stop, get away from him, make him make the throw to second, or make him make the throw to first, and then try to get you out at second.
How many kids know how to do that?
Exactly. And that's because, you know, they're not being taught the game scenario, or in the game scenario, they're not thinking about that ahead of time. I mean, I can tell you, you know, firsthand, when I get to first, I'm thinking all the possible. I'm checking the outfield. I'm checking the, you know, if a ball's hard hit, you never run into an out.
How many kids are taught that, and at what age, if they are taught that? When? I mean, what age?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen as much. They're not educated as much. They don't watch as much baseball, either at a field like we're at here today or on TV.
Yeah.
Which I learned a lot watching TV, even though you can't put yourself in pros' bodies because they're so like physically gifted, but you can watch what they do and simulate it. Like, as much as he does a lot of really dumb things, Javier Baez is an amazing instinctive player, and he runs the bases. He scares pros. It's like watching Little League and know that one kid's faster than anybody else, and as soon as they get the ball, they panic. Well, Baez has guys panicking because he knows situation, he knows when to run, just what you were talking about, okay?
And that's the thing. You said you can't put yourself in their bodies, you know, because they're gifted.
Right.
But you don't need to have, you know, superior strength or speed or hand-eye coordination to use your brain and kind of assess what's going on here.
Using your brain.
Yep.
I mean,
and that can turn the game. I mean, instead of stealing third with no outs, you're already in scoring position.
Yeah, I mean,
you can tie it up from second.
How many championships did Derek Jeter win? Just yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
And was he the most physically gifted player in the league?
No.
Was he the smartest player in the league?
Damn near.
Yep, damn near. I mean, if he wasn't, he wasn't. And the best pros have always been the smartest pros. Okay, like Greg Maddux. Did he throw 95? No. Did he pitch 21 years? Yeah. Did he get away with less than superior stuff? Yes, because he pitched, he didn't throw. And he knew what his pitches would do when they come out of his hand. So therefore, he's way ahead of the game. You got these hard throws that, well, I hope to get it near where they signal me, but I throw so hard, I'm just gonna blow it by the guys. Okay, and first of all, they're not very good, and they end up blowing their arms out because they're trying to throw the ball harder than their body will allow them.
Yep.
And there was an article, and I think either you posted or somebody posted it. Out of the 100 players in Baseball America's Top 100, 22 out of the 44 pitchers have had Tommy John surgery. What I wanted to talk to you about is we're teaching pitching wrong. You got Darvish, who came over here from Japan, and Ohtani. Okay, they weren't hurt there. They come here and they get hurt. Michael Kopech out of White Sox, he was doing fine, and 22 years old, blows his arm out. But it's not becoming just an exception anymore. It's becoming regular. So what are we doing wrong? Throwing too many sliders, trying to throw the ball through a brick wall without mechanical work, proper mechanical work, functional mechanical work. What are we doing wrong? And how do we correct it? We have so many people that are not knowledgeable about pitching in this country. And it just filters down to the lower levels. They get away with, just being able to throw the ball by guys, and then they try to overthrow, or they try to overcook their slider, or snap their curveball, which too much torque, and they blow out their elbows. And the worst injuries than the elbows is the shoulders, because they never recover fully. I mean, look at the guy that we knew, John Danks. As soon as he had shoulder surgery, his career was over. He went from 94, 95, 96 to 90, 89, 88, and you can't make up that miles per hour. Plus, it didn't have as much movement on it because his shoulder was gone. So there's a fundamental problem in this country with teaching pitching.
Yep, and it's becoming less of a chess game. That's what I think, because it used to be more strategic, like understanding scenarios, pitching the hitters, and obviously trying to be as effective as possible. And yes, you're trying to throw hard, but if you're just trying to overwork all the time, and that's kind of where the culture's gone in baseball in general.
Trying to hit home runs, everything's power. Well, this is cyclical. Hopefully they'll get back to make the game more interesting. We're talking about Major League Baseball. It's not very interesting anymore. You touched on that on our last podcast, where it's just about power. It's about hitting home runs or striking out. This is the first year ever that strikeouts will surpass hits.
Yeah.
That means there's a red flag up there. The game is in trouble unless we go back to the interesting part of the game, speed, hitting and running. Hey, you can hit home runs. That's fine. Doubles and triples. Making contact, not strike. There's no action. Everybody strikes out. And then when they hit balls, they're so shocked at getting balls. There's more errors.
But summing it up though,
we happen to be in the city where the worst defensive team in the league is here, which is the White Sox, and they also lead Major League Baseball in strikeouts. So that's a pretty bad combination.
And then when we talk about understanding the game, though, it's trickling down to where kids are being taught the rules, but they're not being taught the game. And there's a difference between that.
Right.
If you go back to something as simple as, there's a 4-set second, so you have to run, but you don't have to run into the tag.
Right.
There's a difference between, oh my God, ground ball, I got to run a second, or first and second, I got to run a third. That's the rule, but you don't have to run into a tag.
Right.
And it's, kids not understanding the game. And, and that's a product of everybody around the kids.
Yeah, but how about the same instance? Let's talk defensively, where you can't get a double play, but you can get a force play, and kids don't know that you could stretch the ball to second base, and they just catch the ball and the guy's safe because they didn't stretch and get the ball.
And that's understanding, like, okay, this play is developing way too fast for us to turn a double play right now. I'm going to become a first baseman and anchor the bag and go get the ball. And that's another thing, just being aware of your surroundings, that things like this aren't being emphasized enough, or
they're not being emphasized at all.
Even the worst, like, it's a good flip, The guy's going to be safe, and he throws it anyway, and he throws it away because he's trying to rush it. Something as simple as pump faking it, maybe.
Yes.
And just tucking it in your
all
back
the
pocket.
all the subtleties of the game nuances are being lost because it's based on power and it's based on throwing the ball really hard, and we've lost sight of the strategies, the nuances of covering each base, the nuances of the right breaks in the outfield, setting up hitters because you don't have a 95 to 100 mile an hour fastball, pitching rather than throwing. All these things are lost. And it makes the game less interesting. Okay, the White Sox hit 4 home runs and won the game 4-0. Well, they didn't. There was no offense because they just took 4 balls out of the ballpark, and they had one guy that could throw the ball really hard. So there's your game. That's not very interesting. I'm sorry, it's not. And we're by Cubs Park here. Cubs Park, they're playing the Brewers right now, and we're at Kerrywood Field, and Kerrywood donated this field to the Chicago Park District. Great venue. Kids should be taking advantage of it, and sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't.
Pretty much wraps it up. Got to understand your game situation.
And we'll be back at this park for more podcasts. We like doing it outside before it gets snowy. So Dave and Joe, DNA Sports, signing off.